Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Shri Ramachandra, Jai Shri Lakshmi Nrsimha. So today I would like to speak about the very important astronomical event that is coming up around 18th to 19th November 2021. It is the longest partial lunar eclipse in 580 years, and it is very significant to the present circumstances and to the future, both for the short term as well as the long term. And this is very significant, and we need to analyze this deeply in order to understand it. And that is exactly what we'll be doing in this video today. We've always seen that eclipses do have significant effects, some positive, some negative, some mediocre, and some do not appear to have enough effects for humanity. But this particular eclipse is certainly exceptional that way, because it's a very long eclipse and it occurs in a very significant geopolitical area. And not only that, this eclipse is also occurring in the sign of Taurus. And let's explore what is going to happen because of this particular eclipse. The details, of course, are here, and you can see which particular areas around the globe can witness the eclipse, and where it is entirely visible, where it is partially visible. And the map, which is resourced from timeanddate.com, clearly displays which location is able to see the eclipse entirely. And for viewers who want to know it particularly for their location, please head to timeanddate.com, enter your location, and you will get the exact time when the eclipse begins for you. And you can also use drikpanchang.com if you want to know when exactly the restrictions begin for particular geographies. But India, large parts of India will not be witnessing the eclipse. Only tiny areas in the far northeast will be able to witness the eclipse physically. And of course, this has a lot of important significance for our country, India, as well as different locations around the world. And I'm going to explain this in today's video. So what may happen is the biggest question. Geopolitically and socio-economically, biologically, what is going to happen after this eclipse is, of course, one of the most burning questions in today's video, which will be answered. It is critical to understand this, of course, as that's the crux point. And for that, I have pulled up an image from Stellarium, which shows where the moon exactly is located during the time of the eclipse. It is in the astrological sign of Taurus. And Taurus, of course, is a very important sign, and it is important for us to understand what will happen because of the eclipse occurring in the sign of Taurus. So the first thing, of course, is real estate. Real estate is going to be affected when it comes to socio-economic effects. Real estate will be affected because Taurus as a sign denotes real estate, and calamity is going to intensify for real estate in the short term. And that does not mean that it is a very serious negative effect. Instead, it means that the industry needs to rethink and reinvent completely. So the industry, the entire real estate industry, cannot continue the way it is continuing. If it does so, and if certain firms and companies stick to the traditional protocols of real estate, I'm sure that the real estate industry or that particular company will be affected a lot. Whereas companies that are diversifying during this moment and that are reinventing in their own space will certainly be able to succeed. And at least get through this particular tough time frame. Real estate is again in the calamity radar as per this present eclipse that is coming into picture, and it is going to intensify in the short term as well as the long term. When I say short term, I mean the next 2 to 3 months, and when I say long term, I mean the next 2 years, or at least the next 1 year. We have to be really prepared for a major effect when it comes to real estate. And this eclipse is also showing us some initial signs. And global geopolitics are going to be affected. The issues between India and China may intensify as the eclipse has an effect particular to the region. And this eclipse also is going to affect several industries, from real estate to livestock also. So I would recommend being kind to animals and avoiding harm to animals, especially because this eclipse is going on in the astrological sign of Taurus. I'm sure that this particular eclipse is going to create a lot of issues for livestock particularly, and it will affect the health of animals too. And the effects are more long-term than short-term, and especially for real estate. US and China relations are also likely to be affected, particularly around next year. Between March and April 2022, we are likely to see a lot of effects to the geopolitical situation of the world. And I'm also sure about one more thing, that is, it is an auspicious sign for the Indian economy in the long term. However, because of a very powerful situation of planets coming in the short term, the Indian economy also is going to be affected. But in the long term, this is an auspicious sign for the Indian economy, and there is a very powerful indication of an increase in rainfall, further causing flooding, and this is also going to be evident till April 2022, as already mentioned in my previous videos. And how does it affect individuals is another big question. And individuals, of course, are also affected just like the world is affected. And I also will begin a series of videos regarding individual astrology. But for now, let's understand what this particular eclipse has in store for individuals. And as I already mentioned, this eclipse will be occurring in the astrological sign of Taurus or Vrishabha Rashi. And Scorpio will have the opposite effect. Both of these signs are going to be affected negatively if prayers are not made and if meditation is not performed.